All right, in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the logical AND operator, represented by the double ampersands. Okay, here I have a const value, and then I'm chaining a bunch of these. So what's going on here? Well, if we reload the page, we see that the value of value is 0. Now, this follows the rules. It checks from left to right. Hey, can this be coerced into a falsy value? So it's actually doing this. It's calling the Boolean constructor and passing in 0, which returns false. Okay, so this is the first falsy value it sees. So then it returns that. So value is now 0. Okay, now remember when we did console.log, dark mode, and then we did and dark. Let me delete this, and then we see dark here. Let's talk about why. It's checking, hey, dark mode variable, are you falsy? No, I'm not falsy. So it's checking the string dark. Hey, string dark, are you falsy? Nope. Now, they're both truthy, so it has to return the last argument, which is this whole string. That's why we have string dark. Now, let's do a function. I'll just call it test. And then let's do console.log test ran. And then let's do an if statement. If, what if I do dark mode and test, and then if that check passes, I'll do console.log. Let's call this if check passed. Okay, now let's check what we see on the right. So we see test ran, but we don't see if check passed. What's going on here? Now, on line 9, we see the if statement, and inside, which is new scope, we have this. So how JavaScript works is that it's going to evaluate this whole thing before calling the if statement. So since this is the double ampersand, it's going to say, hey, dark mode, are you falsy? No. So then it has to run this thing on the right to check. Since this thing on the right is a function call, it's going to look for the return statement of test. What's the return statement of test right now? If you said test ran, that's actually wrong, because all functions return undefined. Right? So since it's returning undefined, this becomes falsy. So then this whole thing becomes if undefined, because it returned the first falsy value, right? So now this whole thing is not going to run. Now, what if we return test ran? Now we see the if check has actually passed, because now dark mode is true and test is true because it returned a string, which is truthy. So then the if statement now becomes string test ran, okay, which coerces to true. Okay, what if we do change dark mode to false? Let's see what happens. Notice that we see nothing on the right side because it's checking dark mode. Are you falsy? Yes. So everything stops. It returns false. So then everything does not run. Okay, that's basically how it works.